Why success without rest leads to burnout. In this video, I'm going to talk about what happens when your work and growth is all about hustle, 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 when you are hyper focused on chasing your immediate goal in front of you, whether it's to hit your KPIs or targets of a day or week, or whether it's the monthly targets or quarterly targets, whatever it is, and what actually happens when you don't proactively shift your focus from chasing these worldly transactional targets to having some kind of a eternal vision that you are pursuing above everything else. Hi, I'm Sam. I'm the co-founder of Kingdom Impact Lab, and what I'm doing in these videos here is I'm just talking through a whole bunch of ideas that I've got to help me understand them. My passions and gifts are about learning, research, study, finding the truth. I can sit and read and study and listen to audiobooks and podcasts for 20 hours a day if I had to, and it would be my version of heaven. And I want to be able to translate that passion and a gift of deep learning and study and pattern recognition, all these things, into a way to steward this gift for the benefit of others. And the kind of focus that I'm most passionate about in many ways is how people in the world completely lack meaning and purpose. They just go through life on autopilot. They manipulate it in a they manipulate it on a moment-to-moment, decision-to-decision basis by external cues that they're completely unaware of, from the spirit of the secular, transactional, hyper-competitive, return on investment, money above all things, marketplace, workforce and whatnot. And I want to explore ways on how I can help as many people as possible find that meaning and purpose in their lives. And the solution I've came across actually before we dive into the video, because it is directly related to the topic, is it's something that Jordan Peterson taught, and that was that humans find meaning, purpose, fulfillment in the progression towards a goal. And when we achieve the goal, that's when motivation drops. We feel a sense of satisfaction for a surprisingly short amount of time, but then time passes and then the new goal materializes that we're chasing after then. And because we find meaning and purpose in the progression towards a goal, often it's easy to set ourselves short-term goals to pursue, which we should do. We need to chase short-term goals, but the risk is, if we don't have a higher vision, if we don't have a North Star where our identity as a person and our vision is anchored to, if we don't have that, we will just spin in circles, because we will naturally chase the next goal, the next goal, the next goal, without any kind of alignment to a higher purpose. And we ultimately then get, it is literally like a hamster wheel going round and round. And I know a lot of people that are sadly like that, and they can't see the forest through the trees because they lack a North Star. They lack some solid foundation. The only thing they can see is the amount of money they need to make this month, and so they pursue that financial target at all costs, and then they hit it, and then the next month comes and they do it again and do it again and do it again. And I know someone that works excessively in terms of the number of hours that go into work, and I once asked them if they could tell me what their big picture goal is. What's the point of what you're doing? What's the purpose? What am you actually aiming for? And the response I got from that was, Sam, I'm too busy. I can't answer that. Let me get back to you another time. And I was genuinely shocked at the response, because you're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week in order to hit your monthly financial target as determined by the company that you're working in. But you don't have time to think for a couple of minutes just to tell me what you're working towards, kind of thing. And so if you don't proactively, consciously, deliberately come up with your North Star, your vision that you're working towards as a person, the vision in your work, the vision in your business, someone else will decide it for you, especially in a transactional workforce, such as the case with the person that I described. The company that they freelance for essentially determines what their goals are every month, and they just pursue those goals and they don't think about anything else. So a company which views this person as nothing more than a sales agent, a disposable sales agent that they will get rid of in a heartbeat. Well, they wouldn't get rid of them in a heartbeat because they're a freelance sales agent, which is even worse. So then this person's committed to this company in a way that they put all their time, energy and effort into it. Everything they do is focused around working for this company so they can get their sales and get their commission. But the company hires them as a freelance sales agent, disguised as something else, which means there's no job security, there's no benefits, there's nothing to it. So all of the risk here is on the individual, and there's zero risk for the company, yet that company who views this person as absolutely nothing, insignificant because of the size of the multinational company that she's working for. But they view her as nothing. Literally, it is nothing. So insignificant, it's nothing. But this person's entire world revolves around hitting those short-term sales targets that the company tells them to do, and they don't know anything. They claim to be too busy to tell me what they're actually working for or what they hope to gain from this experience and of working there. So this is the hamster wheel. One person attaches their entire meaning and significance towards these short-term goals determined by a company that could not care less about the person that's doing it, and that's a problem in my view. And this is the problem, because at some point the person's going to wake up and realise there's a disconnect with who they are as a person and what they've been doing for so long. They'll wake up and realise that they sacrificed the best years of their life pursuing goals as determined by a company that viewed them as nothing. This company that they work for, I can guarantee you with 100% certainty that if they have the opportunity to replace this person with some kind of artificial intelligence, what they don't have to pay any commission to, they would drop them in a heartbeat. But yet this person's entire self-worth is based on chasing these companies' targets because they cannot see beyond what they're currently doing. They can't see the forest through the trees. And in this particular case here, success would be defined by the individual as hitting the sales targets per month, and that's it. Their self-worth is completely attached to whether they hit the sales targets or not. It's all about hustle. It's all about prioritizing the immediate needs of the company and hitting their immediate needs of sales targets over everything else. sacrifice relationships with friends, sacrifice time with the family, sacrifice time with the kids, and it's just not a good thing to do. So for me, I went through something similar, but not as intense. For me, it was with my former marketing agency where I idolised money. Money was my North Star, and when things didn't work, things quickly fell apart for me. Burnout, stress, no peace, sleepless nights, constant anxiety, and all of the other negative things. And I measured my own self-worth as an individual human based on the fact that I could not get this business to work. I compared myself to people that were 10 years younger than me but were more successful than me in business, and it was just a downward spiral that led to a bit of a breakdown, to be honest with you, and ultimately me closing the business. And then when I became a Christian and I studied the Bible and studied biblical principles, I found a solution that worked for me, and that was to pursue Christ-likeness in the day-to-day, moment-to-moment decisions, and to prioritise doing things for the benefit of others, to prioritise the pursuit of excellence, because that is a way that will glorify God over ego or self-interest, to prioritise extravagant love, which would be asking yourself, how can I be a blessing to as many people as possible today? It's asking yourself in every decision that, am I doing this for my own ego or for my own benefit or for the benefit of the other person? And it's consciously asking these questions here, and it's operating with integrity, making decisions that go against your best interest, but it's the right thing to do. You may lose your sales or commission or whatever it is, or not hit the target. It's operating on humble service, doing things for the benefit of others, treating each human as an individual made in the image of God with a unique story, unique gifts, and a unique purpose, and not viewing them as a transaction, as an ROI. And it's focusing on these, and it's measuring your success based on how well you're doing these, instead of focusing on hitting your goals and hustling and all these things. Yes, you need to have goals. Yes, you need to have long-term goals, short-term goals, and yes, you need to hit your targets, because otherwise you're not going to be able to operate a business. You're not going to be able to have success in the workforce. But these should not be the primary goals. It should be acting in a way that aligns with Christ-like behaviour, because that gives meaning and purpose to everything you do. And it means that you are aligned here and what you're doing here, and it's this misalignment between who you are as a person and what you're doing externally, which often causes most of the problems. So to circle back to the title of this video, why success without rest leads to burnout, and the answer is that it depends on what your definition of success is. If your definition of success is hitting your short-term goals and you prioritise that over everything else, you become addicted to the cycle. You're on the hamster wheel going in circles, and it will lead to burnout, because there's a misalignment between who you are as a person and what you know you should be doing and what you actually are doing, and whether that will result in something immediate or it will happen long term, but it will come. One day you'll wake up and realise that you've been pursuing the wrong goals. You've been sacrificing the wrong things in the pursuit of the wrong goals. You've sacrificed your friends and relationships and having a good marriage and time with your kids when they grow up towards pursuing a goal that was inherently meaningless for the company that views you as nothing, and don't treat you as a human. And that's essentially it. So again, why would you need rest? Well, having rest allows you to step back, and you can see the forest through the trees. So that's all. See you next time.